मंदिर जाता हूँ, मस्जिद जाता हूँ, जब जाप करता हूँ। मंदिर जाता हूँ, मस्जिद जाता हूँ, जब जाप करता हूँ, कहीं इंसान से उठकर खुदा न बन जाओ, इसलिए थोड़ा सा पाप करता हूँ। Okay, sir, thank you very much for the excellent session. I request Madam Dr. Aira Almira to present mementos to our speakers and our chairpersons. May I request Dr. Aira to please come on the stage and present memento to Dr. Mr. Jijesh. Yes, sir. Mr. Sushant Naik. Is Dr. Anand here? Anand Mugdalimat? Yes. You're the next person. Dr. Arvind Kumar, our chairperson. And a beautiful, loving, smiling rose to dynamic Dr. Pradeep Singh, sir. मुस्कुराता फूलों का कहीं घर जाने के बाद कोई ये न पूछे लड़की के साथ अकेला क्या कर रहा था, फूल कौन दे रहा था, इसको आपको मिले। Say it's all trick, man. It's all trick. Evidence-based medicine. Okay. Chalo. Thank you very much, sir. And now we are going for the next session. I call upon my co-host, most beautiful, dynamic, dashing, Glorita, madam. Glorita. उनके आने से हमारे रूप बदल देती है, हमारे फिजा बदल देती है, ऐसे मैडम, चलो वाह मैडम, ओपन योर मास्क, चाहे उनको, wow. And now we are going to start the session. All the silent. When I was talking, everybody was talking about. Okay.
Okay, now we'll move on to session 6, the optimistic session. It is basically about choosing forensic as a career. Is it the right choice? For this session, I would like to invite the chairperson and the co-chair, Dr. Rakesh Goria, Professor HOD, Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, Gian Sagar Medical College, Ramnagar, Punjab. The co-chair for our session will be Dr. Vipul Ambade, HOD of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, GMC, Gondia. So can we start? Okay. I'd like to call upon our first speaker. The session is Future Technology by Dr. Anamika Chakraborty, Senior Resident, Department of Forensic Medicine Toxicology, SSC Medical College, Kolkata, West Bengal.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Monica Chakravarti, and as you can see, this is a very new topic: artificial intelligence in forensic medicine. Basically, this talks about the future of forensic medicine, and there have been many app-based applications based on artificial intelligence to solve many problems, diagnostic problems, or data keeping problems of forensic medicine. So basically, it's a growing trend. Yeah. So basically, the objectives of today is to know the basics of artificial intelligence, what is the uses of artificial intelligence, or what can be the future use of artificial intelligence in forensics, the advantages and disadvantages of artificial intelligence, and current status of AI in India. So what is artificial intelligence? It's basically, hello, am I audible? Yes. Okay. So basically, it is the ability of any machine to mimic human intelligence. It has three properties: to learn from the past experience, to discover pattern, and to ability to do the repetitive or learned task. It means that basically first we have to teach a computer, then it learns, and then it will produce or reproduce the task and keep the record of the thing that it has done. So it's a technological thing. There are mainly two approaches by which AI works. Number one is the top-down approach. Top-down approach is basically breaking a bigger thing into a smaller one. For example, in fingerprint identification, the fingerprint is divided into many minutiae. And by identification of this minutiae, we discover a fingerprint or we decode a fingerprint. So that is basically a top-down approach. And bottom-up approach is basically when we are combining smaller things to produce a bigger image. For example, for an image identification, we recognize the computer recognizes pixels. Okay, so pixels are basically the smallest unit of an image. By combining all the pixels together, an image is formed. So basically, this is in short what I just said. First, we have to input data to the system, a computer or robot or app, anything. Then it will analyze the data, it will find the patterns it has learned before, it will predict, and it will keep the record of the thing which it has learned. So basically, like in human brain, we have neural networks. Similarly, in the computer, in the robot, which functions through AI, has got convolutional technological patterns or layers known as deep neural networks, which function similar to the neurons. There is a term used in artificial intelligence known as the big data. Big data is basically millions of data which a patient in medical science, we say that when a patient in a lifetime generates a lot of data. So to store that data also we need technological advancements so that AI can function. So basically the AI machines deploy some special technological things to store this big data. Because not only prediction, not only diagnosis will help, the record needs to be stored also. So what are the uses or the future uses of AI in forensics? We will come through it later one by one. Number one is detecting the cause of death. So basically, we know that autopsy is an upcoming field in forensic medicine. The images which we get from autopsy can be fed into an artificial intelligence system so that it can detect the cause of death quickly. So basically what is happening over here, that the artificial intelligence is taking over the human intelligence and it is producing the result fast and quick. AI in detecting fingerprints. So basically artificial intelligence has got a huge scope in biometric systems and in identifications. In fingerprints also, as I have said, the minutiae patterns are identified and the fingerprint detection is done. Chiloscopy, as we know, it's the lip prints. So the identification of the lip prints is also done. We know the Sushi-Hashi method. There are 6 branching patterns of the lip prints. So if the artificial intelligence system can be fed with the knowledge, the lip prints can also be identified through computer systems. Similarly, in palattoscopy, with an intraoral scanner, if we get the hard palate, the Ruby system of the hard palate, then it can be fed to a system to detect the different features of palattoscopy or palate patterns, which can help in identification. In a mass disaster or crime scene investigation system, as before it was told by some other faculties, that during every step of the crime scene detection or the forensic investigation system, especially in the evidence analysis and reconstruction of the crime scene by the antemortem and the postmortem data, artificial intelligence can be produced by creating simulation videos, by keeping the records, by evidence analysis. Similarly, bite mark analysis, what's done or what is done till date is using transparent inlays and superimposing photos over that to match the bite marks. So if we have this artificial intelligence system, then the whole thing, the superimposition thing, can be done through a computer or robot guided system. Similarly, in the sex and the age estimation, if the artificial intelligence system has the knowledge of the sexual dimorphism in different bones, it can identify the sex of a particular bone just if the features or the photo of the particular bone is fed into the system. Similarly, for the time estimation of time since death, we all know that there are biochemical features like LDH, triglyceride, cholesterol, blood urea nitrogen, the amount of which can help in approximate estimation of time. So similarly here, instead of the manual thing, if the computer has the knowledge, then it can predict the times, approximate time since death, if only the values of those biochemical indicators are given. For wound recognition, there has been a model. Now we all know for bruises and abrasions, the color of the abrasion and the color of the bruises give approximate time since injury. So there has been many app-based systems which can actually, like this, which can actually take the photo and through image analysis or the color analysis, they give the approximate time since injury through abrasions and from abrasions and bruises. In the crime scene reconstruction, we know in any road traffic accident or any ballistic cases, virtual reality simulation videos are prepared. So all those videos are prepared with the help of the AI, which helps in giving an approximate idea of how the incident occurred. Similarly, the blood stain pattern analysis, if the computer recognizes the size, shape, distribution of the blood stains, then it can tell from which angle the blood stain fell, what was the time the blood stain is there, or whether it's an venous blood or an arterial blood, etc. In the forensic psychology also, in narcoanalysis, we know that if a computer system can detect the P300 waves for the brain mapping, then it can help in detection of the lies and the false statements. Similarly, in the similarly, by recording various physiological features like the stress factors, the artificial intelligence or the computer system can work. These are the other uses of AI which are still under construction. Number one is the sound recognition, gunshot detection, firearm identification, 3D time scene reconstruction, handwriting identification, and cybercrimes through AI. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of AI? So the advantages being it helps in the decision support system. Number two is, of course, it avoids the human biases. Like suppose in sex determination from skull, two persons can give two different, it may be a male for me, it may be a female for another person. So this human subjective biases can be avoided through artificial intelligence system. Long-term use of artificial intelligence system can be cost effective, but there is an initial high cost of implementation. It can give highly accurate and efficient results, and it is obviously time saving, it's not time consuming. What are the disadvantages? Initial high cost of implementation, as told before. It lacks creativity. Why? Because it's an artificial intelligence. Whatever we are teaching the computer, it is reproducing back. So if I teach it to identify an orange and a banana, it cannot identify a tomato. So there is risk of unemployment. Of course, if we depend on the computers and technology so much, there may be risk risk of unemployment. But again, as because artificial intelligence is a part of the human intelligence and it has born from the human intelligence, it cannot replace the human intelligence totally. So the current status, we know there has been development, many development of the app-based system has been in progress, and the government has already introduced the Niti Aayog or the think tank plan for advancement of artificial technology in India. To conclude, artificial intelligence is best or is better to help human or accentuate the actions of the human in giving diagnosis or record keeping, but of course it cannot replace the human intelligence. So as in autopsy, we say that autopsy is not the golden standard of autopsy technique. If it is combined or amalgamated with the manual autopsy or the autopsy standard autopsy we do, then it can give a very good result. So similarly here, if the app-based system or the artificial system is amalgamated with the human intelligence, side by side it can give effective and results in a very less time. These are my references. Thank you.
Any questions, please?
Yeah?
When will this artificial intelligence come into our mortuaries?
That is a very subjective question again. Yeah, it's in the development process, and it will take many more years to come to get it implemented in our mortuaries. We don't have the autopsy system in many in the many mortuaries. So how can we expect artificial intelligence to come and predict things right now? It's in the development process. Yeah, it may. It may. In future, it may.
Because that profession is being
Hello.
by the human. So, but it is families, properties, sensitive,
Absolutely, absolutely. It's not 100% reliable. As because the information is fed by humans only, so there is always scope of human error. I mean, the human error may be reflected in the technological error by the computers. So it's not 100% like self-proof. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll now move on to the second speaker. Dr. Ajit Anthony, Assistant Lecturer, Department of Forensic Medicine Toxicology, Goa Medical College, Bambolim. His topic is Forensic Journey from Fiction to Reality.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon to one and all. So, I hope everyone settled after the lunch and having a good time. So, my topic is actually a little strange because when Dr. Madhu first told me I have to do something optimistic and different, and him being having a soft corner for fiction, he asked me to present something like a journey from fiction to reality. So even I was equally confused at the beginning, and then I asked him, "Why, sir? Why this is a scientific session? What is the relevance of having fiction as a topic?" And then sir told, "See, basically everything that you have today is once it was fiction in somebody's head, and reality is just a progress of fiction. So sometimes we need to explore our roots to know where the progress lies, and you know." So finally, I decided on a topic journey from fiction to reality, which was going to be myself. And so, like I said, fiction and reality keeps on circling. So first, in any case, let's say for the development of an aeroplane, first man was inspired by the bird, And then he created the fiction called The Flight of Icarus, in which a man could actually fly. And inspired by this fiction, people actually wanted to create a machine that wanted to fly, that could fly. And that's how flight emerged. And then series like Star Trek, etc., again fiction took over. And this further inspired people like Elon Musk, etc., to create something like SpaceX, which could approach that levels. And next, now we have fiction that is recently uptrending on various TV shows or whatever it is. It is colonization of Mars and space travel. So I don't know what the reality is going to be next, but this is this is like the basic pattern on how it goes, as far as I think. So now we all know this fellow, Bernard Knight. So Bernard Knight, all the forensic people will know because he created the reality for most of the forensic people by writing the landmark book. But what most people don't know is that he's also the author of some 30 plus fiction novels, which actually inspired him to continue working in his field. And it so basically fiction, what it does is it inspires you to create something, and it also raises the expectation. So like I said, going to the previous example of the bird, so when the flight, it inspired man to create something like an aeroplane at first, but it also increased the expectation so that we don't still have that flimsy little aeroplane. Now we have something bigger and better and keeps on evolving. So what sir was trying to tell me was fiction creates inspiration and expectation, and these create progress. Now he told me to tell me my personal experience in this, but I thought it was better, since it was a scientific session, I'd convert that into a study, like a minimum, like a kind of questionnaire based study. So yeah, so in my case, I'm actually the author of this book, Forensic Surgeon, for Police Surgeon, which was a #1 bestseller in Amazon. But I wrote this when I was in 12th standard. So I did not have any idea about forensic surgeon, forensic medicine back then. And that, going back to the previous example, it inspired me to do something new. But once I joined the forensic department, I realized that the majority of what I've written in that book does not really exist. The reality hit me in a different way. And so my second book, which is coming up in next year, it is a little more different and it is more refined. So again, an example of progress, how inspiration and expectation works towards progress. Now, the study that I did was basically I set a questionnaire. Now, to measure the inspiration, we cannot directly measure, but expectation, at least by a questionnaire, you can somehow get an idea what the expectation of students or different people towards forensics, the branch of forensic is. Thereby, you can analyze whether the forensic career is a right choice or not. Now, I'm basically a pessimistic person, but yeah, I'm supposed to talk about optimism again. Again, not a very confusing job. So anyway, the questionnaire was sent to basically people who were working in forensic medicine, forensic science, MBBS students, forensic science students, and also doctors who are not forensic also, because to get a comparison between the perspectives of forensic people as well as non-forensic people. So based on the responses that I received, majority of the people belong to the class of 18 to 24 age group, and followed by 25 to 35 to. Then majority were actually female, but this again is due to the involvement of students rather than the forensic faculty, because forensic, as you know, is a male-dominant field. So I created a breakup of the different sections of this. So first, majority was actually MBBS students, 37%. Then we had consultants in forensic medicine, that is people who are practicing forensic medicine, 21%. Then postgraduate students in forensic medicine was 17%. Non-forensic forensic scientists 13%, non-forensic doctors 9%, and science students are 3%. Now the question that was posed to them was, what is the concept regarding the roles played by a doctor with forensic degree in India? So most of them were telling it is medical legal consultant. There were given multiple options. You could select actually more than one option. And medical legal consultant, and followed by forensic pathologist and expert witness. Now, for the basis of comparison, we needed somewhat. That's why I chose 169 responses, because I wanted somewhere 50-50. half of the people who are in forensic career and half people who are outside the forensic career. So my initial plan was 150, but it required 169 people, so that could be roughly 50-50 inside. Now, when you see the forensic personnel, the same thing I broke down for each of the sections. So for forensic personnel, the highest was medical legal consultant, followed by forensic pathologist, expert witness, medical examiner, and crime scene investigator. For non-forensic personnel, it was medical legal consultants, medical examiner, police surgeon, crime scene investigator, and forensic pathologist. Now the question for the students were, after creating that section of students and faculty, the students were asked this question: are you interested in forensic medicine or science as a subject? And 38% said that they were interested, and 25% said they were not interested, but 34% of the people who were interested but not planning to pursue. So to the people who were interested but not planning to pursue, that is where the rift between expectation and reality comes, because they were expecting to follow it, but reality hit them straight. So I asked them the reason why they are not following the career. So in majority they said they don't like to deal with court proceedings. That was the number one reason given by them for not following the forensic career. And followed by, I don't like to deal with criminals. Yeah, it is written here. Yeah, court procedures was the first. Dealing with criminals was second. Then undue political pressure. Most of them were scared of undue political pressure. Then autopsies. Some people like clinically oriented subjects more, so they want to deal with living people than the dead people. Now, then, there was, and the fifth reason was police violence and gore. They were scared of it. I even included some things like if people were also weak-hearted, 16%, 5% said they had nightmares after seeing an autopsy, and 9% of people are scared of ghosts. So even very personal also. Now, yeah, this is another section wherein what inspires. So after the students were asked this question, they exited the questionnaire, sorry. And to the people who are pursuing forensic career and postgraduate students also were asked this question: what inspired you to pursue a forensic as a career choice? Now the first and the most important reply given was job prospects, and followed by movies, TV shows, fiction novel, and a lot of people chose this because they had poor rank in NEET entrance. 19% chose because they had poor rank in NEET entrance, and 17% had no other choice. So I know personally one person who had marked no other choice. So I asked why, because she told her parents wouldn't allow her to go out of that district, and with the rank that she had, the only seat she was getting was forensic. So she had no other choice. So things like that. So you see here there's a clash between fiction and reality. Now, first of course, job prospects are there. Poor NEET rank. Had no. It comes out under the reality section. Fiction movies, TV shows, they all come under the fiction section. So to the people who are following a forensic career, I asked the years of experience just to see whether they were juniors or seniors. So majority of them were 1 to 5 years. So basically junior residents or senior residents. Then followed by MBBS UG students. So after this, they were exiting the questionnaire. So from 88 responses, now after the UG students exited, it is 64 responses. So I asked them, do you think you have made the right choice in choosing forensic career plan, which is the session heading? Finally coming back to the session. So 80% of them said yes, 20% said no. So the people who said no, that they are working currently as forensic professionals, but they said they have made the wrong choice. So I went back, circled back and checked their inspiration, why they were inspired to join it in the first place. Because if they think that they have made the wrong choice, but they were inspired by something, it means that there is definitely a rift between the fiction and the reality, or in their heads at least. Because something inspired them to join this, but they think that it is not the right choice. So in that, the top options were they had no other choice, 27%. 22% poor NEET rank, 22% fiction, 17% TV shows and movies, 11% Sherlock Holmes fan. So basically, if you had no other choice, or if you are a keen fiction follower, they were basically disappointed with the branch. Not everyone though, but the people who were disappointed were basically out of this. Then to the same people I asked what is the sense of achievement or fulfillment in this field. Most of them said 3 out of 5. 1 was the lowest and 5 being the highest. How likely are you to recommend forensic career to a student? That everyone wanted little more because they all want some juniors. So that came up to 4 by 5. Then do you find forensic field in its present state to meet your expectations or dreams? 25% said yes, 75% said no, that they are not satisfied with forensic field in its current state. So the next question obviously was, what do you need? More super specialty courses? 80% said yes, they need more super specialty courses. 20% said no. Now there was also a paragraph session wherein you can actually put in your own ideas. I asked them like, what do you suggest so that we can improve this field? And opinions and suggestions were collected, and I am organizing it according to the seniority, like 10 years, more than 10 years and less than 10 years. So more than 10 years means senior faculty, less than 10 years means junior faculty. Yeah. So in first they shared that senior faculties were concerned about unity, should come all together. Then they were concerned about subject getting priority over the person, healthy criticism. Then the diversity of the subject. That means they also needed a lot of subspecialties, developing subspecialties, additional postgraduate diploma courses. Then awareness among public regarding our subject and also among bureaucrats. Change of attitude of people towards forensic doctors. Then the other problem posed was minimum staff requirement in FMT by NMC. Improve the infrastructure of mortuary. Now the younger generation, that is less than 10 years of experience in the field, their problem was job opportunities. That was the most highest number of comments that had come, that people are graduating out of forensic medicine but they don't have adequate job opportunities. They need more job opportunities, recognition, government jobs and exams should be there. Then faculty, they had a lot of complaints about no one seems to be concerned about the subject, etc., etc. That is more or less like a personal thing rather than professional. But let's see. Again, a lot of people had to comment about the NMC. So this was something that senior faculty and junior faculty are telling the same. Wherein NMC changing minimum requirements is creating a problem is increasing the workload. So with CBME as well as 2 batches of students need to be taught separately, it is not feasible with the current strength. That is 1 professor, 1 associate professor, 1 assistant professor and 4 SRs. It is really difficult. So the problem is that there will be a lacuna in teaching. Of course, if there are overwork, the quality of teaching will be less, and therefore less students will be opting for PG in forensic, and thereby they will not be inspired. Of course, if they are not inspired, they will not choose the forensic medicine, and then the reality will be a little sour in the future. Toxicology was another issue raised by this young generation. It was actually very contrasting. Some people wanted toxicology to improve, some people wanted toxicology to get removed out of our entire this thing for MD forensic tox. So if having an MD degree in forensic medicine toxicology doesn't make you a specialist in toxicology, then why such a degree? That was one of the questions that was raised. Then what the younger generation wanted is research and advancements. So more freedom of research, less interference from ethical committee, advanced technology again, research standardized protocols, more techniques. Then some people wanted forensic medicine to be more clinically oriented. And then standardization of procedures and to get in par with the international standards. So that's about it. I'd like to thank Dr. Andre, Dr. Madhu, Dr. Mandar and Dr. Shahil for their inputs and helping me become the study of the university. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Our next speaker is Dr. Naveen Kumar Chaudhary. Dr. Chaudhary has been a professor of cybersecurity and the dean at National Forensic Sciences University, Gandhinagar, India, since 2019. He heads the Training and International Relations Department of the university and has additional charge of Director NFSU Goa campus. He has an extensive experience of more than 24 years in engineering, education, research, and the government. Prior to joining the university, he has been a director at the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. He has also served as faculty and head of department in the Faculty of Communication Engineering at Military College of Telecommunication Engineering, Mo, Madhya Pradesh. In his official capacity as Joint Director and Director in the Government of India, he has steered many cutting edge ICT projects and has worked extensively in policy formulation in cybersecurity and e governance. He is the recipient of a letter of appreciation for contribution towards the cause of literacy from Brent St. Denis, MP, Algoma, Canada, in 1994, Dubai Seva Award for his contribution to cybersecurity education in 2022, and COAS and CCOSC commendation for his innovations and distinguished work in 2009 and 2015 respectively. Dr. Naveen Kumar Chaudhary is currently the Director of National Forensic Sciences University, Goa campus at Kurti, Goa. He will talk to us about a career in forensic science, the role of National Forensic Sciences University in widening the career opportunities in the field of forensic science in India. Sir, the dais is yours.
Respected dignitaries, invited guests, faculties of South Goa District Medical College, National Forensic Sciences University, Goa campus, and my dear students, Namaskar. First of all, I would like to convey my warm wishes and congratulations to members and office bearers of Indian Academy of Forensic Medicine for completing 50 years of their foundation, especially in context of Goa. Let me tell you, I am a cyber forensic expert, and today I am sitting among the forensic, fraternity because of my expertise in cyber forensics. So it is an emerging field. I was in government most of the time. I have served in government. But when I received an invitation to join this university as a professor, I took some time to join. But then I realized I went about discuss this with my, kith and kin, people whom I know, people whom I admire, and everyone advised me that forensic is one of the emerging fields. And that's why you must take a chance, and if you are planning to switch over your career in academics, you can think about it. So I took almost 2 years and then I resigned from the government job and then I joined here as a permanent faculty on a regular basis in 2019. Now, why I am saying so that forensics has a lot of scope, because recently and in fact I am very much convinced, because and I would rather say that the forensic golden era in India has already started, and with the only university, National Forensic Sciences University, it is the only university in the world exclusively in forensic sciences. And we started with 3 courses initially, and in 3 small rooms way back in 2009, and today we have 73 plus courses in forensics and the allied sciences. And now let's talk about the forensics with the different perspective. Recently we are establishing some of the center of excellences in the university, and then we wanted to know that what are the different verticals of digital forensics. So we invited senior police officers, people who are in government, Ministry of Home Affairs, and we wanted to take their inputs that what all we should cover in this center of excellence. So when we got the input, then we realized that even in digital forensics, there are 17 vertical where we need to work. So then we got 55 crore rupees sanction, and we have started working on that center of excellence, and the work will finish in 2-3 years. So what I mean to see that we have to look at the forensics with a completely different perspective, and then I really compliment the speaker, the first speaker of this session, who spoke about the artificial intelligence, because it is generating a lot of job avenues. In fact, some of my faculty members are on deputation abroad, and some of the countries are looking for a capacity building. Now we talk about some of the developed country, but majority of the country, they are still into the capacity development, and forensic is a one field where they are looking up to India. So we have been started sending our faculty abroad. One faculty has been already sent to Namibia. He is doing a capacity building of their forensic laboratory, and then we have received some additional request. So then, and one more thing I want to bring out here, that we have recently collaborated with the United States Department of Defense. They have got an organization that is known as DPAA, Department of Personal Accounting. So like, what is the theme of today's symposium is that death deserves dignity, and one of the speaker, he mentioned about the collaboration of International Humanitarian Center for Humanitarian Forensics with the NFSU. We have a first center, and one of the mottos is death deserves dignity. And if you remember that, India believes in brotherhood, and even since time immemorial, we have a history, and we in the past also, the Indian sages, saints, and even the great people always talked about humanity. And forensics is one tool through which you can promote the humanity. And let me tell you that in 2019, in the Sri Lanka, when the bomb blast happened, and there was a real chaos, and they did not know how to identify the body. So that time, university approached the Ministry of External Affairs, and then we also established a channel with the ambassador that time in Colombo, and we wanted to support them in the humanitarian forensics. And that was the motto, that deserves dignity. So now, at the international level also, we are trying to promote the forensics. And the first part, like why USA collaborated with us, because most of us, we believe that West has best of the technology. The Europeans have best of the technology, North America has best of the technology. Why they will collaborate and align with the India? Now I'll simply tell you what was the reason. They lost some of their soldiers in Second World War. And now they wanted to identify those bodies. In the Northeast sector, during the Second World War, they lost some soldiers, and they wanted a help in the forensic fingerprinting. So that's why they collaborated with us, they approached our university, and then we formed a team which also included our scholars from forensic odontology, like somebody was bringing in that now we have to think in a wider way that, different streams of forensics has to be brought in. So we prepared a team, and that team has again aligned with the Americans. Nebraska Lincoln, University of Nebraska Lincoln is also, part of that expedition. And they are forensic anthropologists. They are also part of that expedition, our team, their team, and jointly we are doing that project. So now a lot of scope is there. What I want to share, the time is changing. We have to widen our scope, and the way we look at the forensics, that also need to change. Now one more thing that I want to highlight here is changing nature of crime. Now, if you look at the National Crime Record Bureau, Bureau record of 2021. So, if their statistics shows that 55,000 plus cyber crimes were reported in India. I am not talking about the crime took place. I am talking about NCBRC report, which is showing that how many cyber crimes were reported in India in 2021. 2022 statistics is not available yet, but sorry, in 2020. So more than 55 cyber crimes have been reported in the year 2020. And if you see that what kind of cyber crime it was, right from fake news, white collar crimes, blue collar crimes, all sort of crimes were there. So now the way we look at the forensics, we need more experts, like India has done extremely well when we talk about the IT sector. We have a good, a base of talented students, around 11.9 lakh boys STEM graduates. Girls are not lagging. 10.9 lakh girls STEM graduates. That's why when you go to America, most of the diaspora, they are known for their contribution because of their expertise in the IT. Similarly, in the West, Indians are known for their expertise in IT. In India, IT has become a soft power, and it has given recognition to Indians abroad. So now this base is already available. This student talent is already available in India. Only it needs to be refined a bit. Now, for example, forensic intelligence is an emerging field. So in the forensic intelligence, what is required, that you have to collect all the data related to the forensics. For example, somebody was talking that, or asking a question, what about mortuaries? Now, mortuaries has to also go towards a digitization. Whatever the data can be digitized, that should be digitized. And then we would be able to work on the platform like AI or a blockchain. Then only then it would be possible to use these tools and technology. Recently, just a month back, there was a meeting of an MHA in Gujarat, wherein they had invited some of the dignitaries and some of the honorable ministers who were talking about the status of crime and also the mortuaries in their districts or their respective states. So when they narrated some of the stories, that some of the mortuaries do not have a proper lighting facility, photography facility. So we have to look at it with a totally different perspective. Lot of opportunities is there, talent base is already there, but then how to go about it? Now therein the adoption of technology will help you, or that is going to help us in a big way. That what should be the think tank should start doing in the forensics field, that what could be digitized and how it can be shared, how the mortuary data can be interconnected, and on what level the research should start. So these are the things wherein a positive outlook is required and thought process need to be initiated. Now, earlier people used to think that, okay, fine, there are some states, union territories, 32 labs, states in union territories, and then around 82 regional laboratories. There only job opportunities are there. No. Then 13 divisions. Now they are saying that most of the advanced labs have 16 divisions. So there only the job opportunities are there. No. After 1995, especially with the economic reform in India, India has become a big corporate base. Most of the big companies, they have come in India. Okay. And these companies, they want to have their own forensic division. And many of the top-notch companies, they have already started their own divisions. Even I am telling you that in vet forensics also of the forensic medicine form parts of, there are many companies which are now going. Earlier people would have not heard of private forensic laboratory. In Mumbai there are only 3 forensic laboratories which are private forensic laboratories. There are corporate worlds which are approaching us, please help us, we want to establish our own laboratory. And their payment is handsome. The most of our best placement students who are being taken on board through a campus drive, they get 50 to 60 lakh rupees a starting package per annum. So now these are the people corporate is looking to pick up. So we have to have a totally different perspective regarding the forensics. Now the cutting edge, so this corporate forensics is going to be a big thing in the coming days. And if you remember, some of the major frauds like WorldCom, Enron, Satyam, Lehman Brothers, why these big companies, and it fell apart? Because they did not have a forensic capability. If they would have kept that forensic capability, so when the things were triggered, when alert was there, then only they would have been able to pitch in and they would have been able to rectify those gaps. But these capabilities were not there. Now this forensic, and now we have some programs, even some of the diplomats, they have started. Now we have around 200, within 2 years, we have 200 international students. Most of them are forensic investigators, some of them are doctors, and even some of them are police officers. They are coming from different, they have subscribed to different courses. I'm not talking of short-term courses, I'm only talking of long-term courses. 2 years, 1.5 years, those long courses, MPhil programs, they have subscribed to those courses. So you have to understand that forensics has become an important, area wherein a lot of effort is going on, and even international community has realized the importance of it. And corporate forensic is also an emerging field. We have one MBA program in forensic accounting, very popular with the foreign students. Even recently the UK diplomat had come and he wanted to, sponsor some of the students of MBA forensic accounting to do a PhD in top-notch universities in the UK. So these are the fields wherein a lot of demand is there. Now, one important thing which you have to understand with a career perspective, that is cutting edge tools and technology in forensics. Now I am very happy, I already said that one of the forensic experts has talked about artificial intelligence. So all those technology like artificial intelligence, blockchain, so these technology is going to change the way we are looking at the forensics, the way we are handling the cases. Dark web, virtual autopsy is already in a way. But then, what is I was also speaking to someone today that with this International Center for Humanitarian Forensics, which we had in collaboration with the Red Cross. So I was talking to some of the forensic experts that why we are not going for virtual autopsy. Now there were a lot of reasons were given to me, but ultimately what I understood that today's doctor is required to know the image analysis part also, how the image is collated, the technicalities of the image processing, the technicalities of image analysis, the technicalities of image collaboration. Then only he can understand the virtual autopsy in totality. So that how the adoption of this technology now, the thought process has to start now. Then only in a 5-year or say in a midterm, midterm we will be able to have some deliverables. So it is one of the best medical colleges. Even I have already made a request that if we can have something like Center of Excellence for a virtual autopsy in our university, we will be happy to collaborate, and then we will be happy to showcase that kind of technology to rest of the forensic experts. So these are the field where a lot of experts are going to be required. Now there was one of the neighboring country. I received a call from one of the ambassadors. I also look after the international cell of the university. I am the director of international relations. So I received a call from one of the ambassadors, and what help he wanted from us is that there is a one death and we are not able to ascertain it is due to suicide or there is something else. So I told him fine, I discussed with my honorable vice chancellor. He is the senior most forensic scientist in India. He told tell him to get the blood sample. These are the things, and the post-mortem report. So even in neighboring countries, a lot of requirement is there, especially these smaller countries, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Nepal. A lot of hand-holding is required in this field, and they are looking for a support from country like India in a big way. Now, one of the issues, even in post-mortem report, is that manipulation of the report. Now a doctor has done his job honestly, he has submitted the report. Now if somebody has manipulated in between, so how to handle it, how to tackle this kind of situation? A technology like blockchain is already there. You have to only adopt it. So the moment doctor has given that report, it remains final. No one can manipulate it, no one can change it. So now, the way we look at the opportunities, it need to be, we have to rethink about it. That is all I will say. And to my students, I will be discussing about the career opportunity because there is a time limitation. A lot of things are lined up. So I will be talking to them about the career opportunities in the forensics in a more detailed way and in a more elaborative way. I just give you one example that some of the subjects wherein the campus placement is not so bright. Let's say forensic science and all. So just 2 years back, we received a request from Delhi Police. They wanted 75 forensic experts, and the criteria was that he should have at least 1 year, or he should have passed out in so and so years. It means 1 year of experience. So we circulated that advertisement, and they gave a remuneration of 50,000 rupees. So we circulated that advertisement among our past students who had passed out a year back, and we did not get a response, except 2-3 response. Then we realized that what's wrong. We found out that most of our students were well placed, and they were not ready to join Delhi Police with an emolument of 50,000 rupees. Then we again spoke to the Delhi Police chief, and we told him that you may have to make it minimum 75,000 rupees. Then only we will be able to give you, and then you have to change the criteria. You have to remove this experience criteria and let the fresh student also join. And then thereafter they got 150 students. So a lot of opportunities are there. You are in a right field and you have taken a right decision. So be optimistic, think about the big things, think about the opportunities which are lined up for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now for the last session, I call upon Dr. M. Narayana Reddy, Professor from Malla Reddy Medical College for Women, Hyderabad. He's talking on the topic, Forensic has a long life, comparing pre-2010 NCI regulation scenario with post-2010 NCI regulation scenario through a forensic lens.
So I choose this topic because I have been observing since 1980 no improvement in the forensic medicine, either teaching or anything. Only in the recent, because of the job opportunities, youngsters are joining. That is an improvement. Whenever the youngsters come, then earlier most of the students that were joining forensic medicine they were all aged than me, more experienced in government service, and they retired. Why they were joining? To have this MD degree by the side of their MBBS degree to settle in private practice. This was. Then, majority of the times, the seats were going vacant for want of any candidate interested to join. The governments have proposed again and again, there must be special incentives for the PG courses in anatomy, physiology, pharmacology and forensic medicine. Our former Director of Medical Education, who later became the Vice Chancellor of the university, in 1995, he wrote to the Secretary to the government that not a single candidate registered to do the PG course in any of the medical colleges of the combined state of Andhra Pradesh, where several PG seats were there, in spite of getting the honorarium or remuneration or stipend, whatever the name you give, a good amount. But they were not joining in pharmacology, anatomy and physiology. Then I asked, what about forensic medicine? Forensic medicine, at least 1 or 2 are coming. And again, their interest is not that. Their interest is that to pass anatomy, physiology or pharmacology, they have to put efforts. Forensic medicine up to 2004 December in our state, in the NTR University of Health Sciences, one could give the white paper in the examination hall and tight clip during the practicals and orals. Because the papers used to be with us, all the 4, we used to distribute to this, On the second day, when we decide to pass or fail, we write on the top B or C. At the time, marks were not there. If I write B on the top, the others also put their initials around it. That's all. Then I had to fight with the same Vice Chancellor when he became the Vice Chancellor to codify the papers and send them for different colleges for evaluation. At least these can pass. Because they are thinking, oh, this Narayan Reddy is our junior, how can he won't pass us? Can you imagine my fate of becoming professor early in 1991 November? What would happen? And recently, one of my pooled vehicles are given for us to transport in our private medical college. One person who did his radio diagnosis in Manipur, he studied one of the medical colleges of our state. Out of curiosity, I used to go on asking him, who is your professor, who is your assistant professor, who was your associate professor when you were doing the MBBS course? He was telling, I am not able to get. On the fifth day, he confessed that he attended only one class for 3 semesters. Due to that, I have taken this and also some other things. And morning, entire this, we are talking about the dead bodies. Whether we are dead body doctors or not, I have to go collect the information. And for the past 5 days, I have been collecting, and my Google sir is there to help me. He provided voluminous information. The issues are to be considered as whether forensic medicine is a clinical subject or paraclinical subject. Forensic medicine specialists have got any role to deal with the medico-legal aspects of the hospital administration. Casualty medical officer, whether he is a part of the forensic medicine department or not, MD degree in forensic medicine is the minimum qualification to do the medico-legal post-mortem examinations. Minimum qualification to do the post-mortem examinations, what is the fixed by this MCI or NMC? And are we teachers of forensic toxicology or toxicology? We are teachers of toxicology, not forensic toxicology. At the same time, we don't have the authority to call ourselves as the toxicologist. If you want to call yourself an expert in any branch of science, not only the knowledge and the skill acquired in the institution, there must also be the work experience. The knowledge acquired or skill in the institution, it only tells what is the facts that can be observed in 51% of the cases. It won't tell us what are the variations in the remaining 49%. That's why mere having the degree and also is not going to qualify us to call as experts. This is all my Googles are supplied. All the circulars are no need, Baba, I will keep them in this. I will ask Madhu, my friend, to put in the because I collected in during this, and also at the same time every day 2 classes for the past 4 days. I was too busy. Single man faculty, they don't want any extra. I asked at least one MBBS candidate in my department, they are not willing to supply. You are there, sir, you can manage. No. Yes. What can I do? Now I am going to cross 69 by the next month and enter in the next month 70 years. These are all the. So voluminous information is there in the Google net. And these are all the circulars issued by the Medical Council of India and National Medical Commission. Minimum qualifications needed to conduct the post-mortem examination. Wrong reading. Minimum standard requirement for the medical colleges for 150 admissions that is also marked for 200 now. Both are the same, 250 different. Amended in August 2017. One professor, one associate professor, one assistant professor, 3 tutors or demonstrators. Is forensic medicine belongs to the clinical specialty or paraclinical specialty? That was the question. Earlier we used to feel that we are clinicians. In 1973 guidelines for PG courses, they divided the subjects of medical branches into 4 groups. Group 1A group is the broad specialties, only general medicine and general surgery. Group 2 was the specialties starting with obstetrics gynecology. Forensic medicine was the 12th in that group. And Group C, basic medical sciences, all these 6 subjects, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry and pathology, microbiology, pharmacology. And now, when they took the examination of forensic medicine from 2nd MBBS to final MBBS part 1, now this second and all this, that first year, second year, third year, fourth year is the renomenclature. We thought that our position has been elevated as a clinical subject. But why did they do? Because the 3 semesters duration has been condensed to 2 semesters in the second year. They felt that it is getting overloaded, so half of the subject can be taught in the third year, not recognizing that we are actually clinicians. And they are divided into 3 groups. This is all, I need not explain, every one of you are aware of 4 groups plus 1. All this is you know very well. And what are the objectives for the medical students after completing the course? Understanding medico-legal responsibilities of physician in primary and secondary care settings is the mortuary is going to teach you. And understanding the rational approach to the investigation of crime based on scientific and legal principles. Ability to manage medical and legal issues, cases in poisoning and overdosage of poisons. Understanding the medico-legal framework of medical practice and medical negligence. Understanding code of conduct and medical ethics. So in this mortuary related is only 1 point. The internship guideline. He must be able to document and documentation, certification of trauma cases, diagnosis and certification of death, legal documentation related to emergency cases, certification of medico-legal cases like age estimation, sexual assault cases, etc. Establishing communication in medico-legal cases with police, public, health authorities and other concerned departments. This is all hospital related. An intern must have observed a medico-legal autopsy, post-mortem, if the college or institution is deficient in autopsy facilities. Memorandum of understanding shall be signed with center in the same district so as to provide training by deputation to them. Till the NMC was established prior to 2019, every college it was compulsory to have a mortuary. Now they said that where the government is not going to give permission, they can establish an understanding with a neighboring teaching hospital or a district hospital for this facility. Now earlier we had the mortuaries only to show them, even though we are not doing. Now they are using it for some other purpose. And now you are all talking about what is the quality of the post-mortem examination when we are neither demonstrating nor teaching them. Casualty medical officer He is a faculty member of the Department of Forensic Medicine. This is one of the inference that I got. The circular dated 9th April 2014. The circular directed all the state governments to direct their universities and institutions to strictly enforce 3 teaching cadres as prescribed in the MCI Teacher Eligibility Qualification Regulations 1998. It was proposed that a letter should be written to all the concerned state authorities directing them to strictly enforce 3 teaching cadres as prescribed in the MCI Teachers Eligibility Qualification. So the fourth one, according to them, is not a teacher. The teachers with the qualifications: professor, associate professor, assistant professor. The last one is tutor, demonstrator, resident, registrar with MBBS qualification. Next, going into the regulations, 1998 minimum qualification for teachers in the medical institutions, amended in 2015, 2016, 2017. The faculty of forensic medicine department are professor, associate professor, assistant professor. Then the last cadre is tutor, demonstrator, resident, registrar, resident pathologist. These are not up to registrar. They are common to almost all the departments. But when they are only in the casualty medical officer and resident pathologist for forensic medicine only. The aim of having a resident pathologist with MBBS qualification is to utilize their services for doing the medico-legal autopsies. That was the aim. Because when these rules were framed, the medico-legal work was too less. You may not believe that entire Hyderabad city's medico-legal post-mortem examinations in 1960 were only 61. So at that time, one doctor per annum, MBBS doctor was sufficient. That's why most of the senior professors, if August gathering comes, the senior most professor who died recently, G.R. Bhaskar, he never entered into the mortuary because there was no opportunity for that. Okay, I will finish. So, but at the same time, he was a good teacher. He has got the good knowledge. We are all used to salute him. Because these olden doctors, they never had the experience of doing. Because in those days, most of the cases they used to hand it over to the relatives without medico-legal post-mortem examination. Then 2018 regulation, that is 97. The objectives of forensic medicine is the knowledge is again the clinical, because they want to cut short. And I also request Madhu to upload it into the net. Okay, that's all. Actually, I planned to have these Xerox copies and distribute, and standing here, you will discuss amongst yourself, because nothing is mine. But today morning only by 9 I could able to finalize it. So these are all the objectives. And medical legal post-mortem is only one of these several objectives. And casualty internship also, they have to do all these things related to the medical legal work. And NMC notification related dated 18th November 2021 last year, in relation to the internship. Again, all those for the interning. And are we paraclinical or clinical? The present NMC has given the answer. They have divided the subjects into Basic medical sciences, that is pre and paraclinical, we are 7th one in this. Then the second one is medicine and medical specialties. Community medicine is there, we are not there. And the third one is surgery and surgical specialties. Now coming to the time frame given to us, is this 2015 is nothing but the one that was framed in 2010. They named it as 2015 vision to implement from the academic year 2015-2016. But now they are implementing it. On graduate medical education, this is the working group prepared in 2010. This is the one of the member was Devi Sethi. You know who is Devi Sethi. I need not explain. The number of faculty members per medical college in India are more than what has been observed in Western countries. Some departments like forensic medicine and community medicine may not be required at the medical college level. This they have taken at the time itself. They have made a cunning observation to remove the examination in forensic medicine, to allow the forensic medicine to be taught with the non-forensic people by cutting it into several branches and handing over. What did they propose in it? They said that general medicine people will teach toxicology, psychiatrists can do forensic psychiatry, and legal aspects by one advocate coming for payment, just like we are going for judicial academy and other academies, and gynecologist and obstetrician, all the sexual related topics including abortion, everything, and surgeons, wounds, pathologists, postmortem changes and postmortem examination. What is left? Because community medicine and forensic medicine are applied medical sciences. They are not exact specialties. If you got the knowledge in other branches, you must know how to use it for this purpose. This was already planned. Why they made it? One minute. Okay. Why they made it? They made this deficiency in forensic medicine highest current sought for 1500. In no other subject that 1500 is there, you can observe. And future need is another 2000, and total additional need of experts needed for the subject of forensic medicine is 3500. There is absolutely no scope of achieving it. Okay, I will stop here. Conclusion is, I am not prepared to give the opinion. I already told you, my purpose is to state what is there in their documents and leave it for you to decide. Sir, yesterday my flight was delayed. I landed here at 9:30. I sit on this up to 2 a.m. Again woke up at 5 a.m. and prepared.
I now request all the speakers to come out to the dais. Dr. Anamika Chakraborty, Dr. Ajit Anthony, Dr. Naveen Kumar Chaudhary, I would request Dr. Deepa Korea to come up to present the memento. Dr. Anamika Chakraborty,
प्रोजेक्टर
Dr. Ajit Anthony.
भाग जा प्रोजेक्टर बंद कर दे
Dr. Naveen Kumar Chaudhary. We'll now present a small rose to Dr. Rakesh Goria. Yes. Dr. N. Narayana Reddy. And Dr. Vipul Ambari.
बीच में खड़ा रहेगा साइड पे आजा
Almost we are in the winding stage. Madam is waiting. I apologize. Madam's session was around 3:15, but she's really enjoying. In fact, we are enjoying her company, madam. Most awaited last session, and it will continue with the concluding session with this sitting itself, so that by 6 o'clock we are winding up. I call upon Pragnesh, it's your sessions. Right from calling the only Dr. Murthy is not there. Dr. Mandar has reached, I think. Dr. Mandar is there. Dr. Judy is not there. So madam
बीच
is
में मत
there.
खड़ा रहे उसको भी मैंने बोला कि बीच में मत खड़ा रहे साइड पे
Thank you very much, sir. Now the seventh session of today is the discussion and debate, and the topic is very interesting, touching our heart of forensic expert.
अभी कोई नहीं
Yeah, that is managing mortuary, pride or punishment. So whenever we hear the word mortuary, morgue, autopsy block, or even lay person or politician also, they all will not like that word. Have you ever heard that some autopsy has been inaugurated? They will inaugurate mostly cath lab or something good thing. But whenever the role of mortuary block will come, they will hesitate. Usually we will not see. Less, comparatively less, that I am telling. Now for this session, I am inviting the chairperson, Dr. Pratik Rastogi. Sir, not there, okay. Dr. Sudha R. Madam, please come on the dais. She is working in the Government Medical College, Nizamabad in Telangana. Dr. Professor D.S. Bullar, sir, who is working in the NC Medical College, Panipat, Haryana. Previously, sir was working in the Patiala Medical College. Sir, please come on the dais. Now for this topic, first topic, that is the challenges for a medical superintendent in managing a mortuary. I invite Dr. Ira Almeida, who is retired director DHS Goa and ex-medical superintendent of hospital.